And we're live. Hello everybody, welcome back to Dice Dogs. I, of course, am your DM, Dungeon Master Connor Man. With me, as always, is Sophie, Ethan, M, Finn, and Vinn. Vinnithy and Finnithy, as we call them. Welcome to episode 8 of Dice Dogs. Still shocked that this... Again, it's crazy to me that I finally, after so long, have, like, a campaign, you know? Like, after so long of watching, like, Matt Mercer and Critical Role and all that, and thinking to myself, God, I really want to do that one day. And now I'm doing it, and it may not seem like much, especially since it's just D&D, but, like, it's a really great feeling for me, especially, and I want to thank you guys for being a part of it and being so enthusiastic about it, too. So,
Connor, is it what you expected? Are we what you expected?
Well,
think about it.
Think about how well you know me.
The raccoon was a shock. That was a surprise.
Yeah.
Also, Em, I don't know if you can see it, but on your screen, you're kind of frozen, stretching your banana out like this.
No, I did not see that. Hold on.
And I think I'm obligated to take a screenshot of that and make that our icon for this episode.
Oh, no.
Make that the thumbnail.
It's recorded now, so...
Connor, show them the lore art I did.
Oh,
yeah,
that's right. Yeah.
Yes, the art.
Our resident artist, Vinn, very talented. He made some awesome art for the campaign. That's in hashtag art, right? You didn't put it in like memes or somewhere weird.
I think I put the Nox one in memes.
Okay,
yeah.
I'm gonna start with that one. So if you remember back in like episode, I think 2 or 3, Nox got high off of honey, and this is Vinn's interpretation of that, and it's my favorite thing right now. It's also a contender for the video thumbnail. And Vinn, while I find the other ones, is there? Do you want to plug yourself with Twitter and whatnot?
Yeah, you can definitely follow us at Dice Dogs DND. No underscores or anything. Just Dice Dogs DND. And my Twitter is also linked there. VINNXAVIER. You do have to be 18 to follow my Twitter. It is private, and I will be watching.
Please, for the love of God, we don't want to go to jail. No. I'm going to start with some of the character faces that Vinn did for Roll20 for when we start using that. These look fucking awesome. I was shocked when I saw these. They're fucking amazing. I can't even pick like a favorite one because they all look so good. And next up we have scrolling down. We got some Dhuur'in picks. We got pre-escape Dhuur'in. Love that little top knot.
There's one with Kate somewhere, so watch out.
Little man.
Oh yes, his top knot and his long hair.
We've got what appears to be bathhouse Dhuur'in. Little fan service for everybody. We got this piece of Dhuur'in's like actual escape from the Underdark, and God, that looks so fucking good. Like that.
Doesn't it?
That honestly looks like it could be like part of an actual D&D book, you know?
Aww.
God, that looks so good.
That's official lore, baby.
And we also got Fenkin hiding behind Dhuur'in, another contender for one of my favorites. Vinn, will you be posting these to Twitter as well, or they, well, you know,
those are exclusive to the YouTube channel.
Those are exclusive to the YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, let me get back to far speaking. Shit. Hang on. Shit. Hold on. Shit. Hold on. There we go.
Hold on.
I'm back. Now my face is back on the screen. So, before we get started with today's game, is there any housekeeping that anybody wants to do? Ethan, if you make a Raid Shadow Legends joke, I'm going to rip your face off.
What if I make a Raid Shadow Legends joke?
You know what will happen.
What if I make one?
I will come to Britain and I will kiss you to death.
Aww.
Raid Shadow Legends on his sponsor Audible. We're doing a great job.
We still don't have a sponsor. That's a joke.
Yeah,
Sponsor us.
It's all a joke because
The slot
no
is
way
open.
did anyone want to ever sponsor us because we are who we are.
Yeah.
Hey, I've been sponsored.
I love the idea of like
Okay, well the rest of us then.
I love the idea of
I
like
apologize.
Blue Apron or something coming along because Blue Apron sponsors everybody. I love the idea of them coming to our channel and being like, "Hey, there's this new D&D channel. You know, they have a couple viewers. Maybe we could reach out to them." And then they watch episode.
Yeah.
They watch one episode. And they're just like, "Nah."
Dollar Shave Club.
Also, I forgot to mention this, but when I was scrolling through the art page, I forgot that I drew a representation of Karn's massive dick with like.
You did, so
So
I hope you scroll past that really quick.
I mean, we weren't going to get monetized anyway, so...
Yeah,
Like-
it's too late for that.
like I said,
We are
even if we get to a point where we are Matt Mercer famous, which I don't think we ever will, you will never see ads on a Dice Dogs video. Not gonna happen. Because capitalism's a bitch.
It's true.
And I'm a socialist.
What else?
Just why me? Nice.
Yeah, Prince Philip died.
Yeah.
Yay.
And,
Okay. Whatever. Anyway.
And I mean, he might have been
Diana-
dead like 10 years ago, and someone was just puppeteering him. Like, I imagine like Queen Elizabeth has like one of those marionettes, and like during galas or whatever, she's just like up in the rafters, just like, "Come on, son, you can." Let's.
It may have just been a very high level raised zombie.
Very high.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you laugh. The Royal Necromancer is out of the job and you're laughing.
All I know for certain is that Princess Diana has sounded the horn of Kurnoth and the hunt has begun. But
She has a shotgun.
Speaking of zombies, our newest sponsor, Raid Shadow Legends, has
God damn you, Ethan! God damn you! I will kill Gesh. I will have every single one of his scales pulled off one by one. Don't think I won't do it. I'm the DM.
You're gonna have to make
I'm your god.
you're gonna have to make a check for each of those scales.
All right.
You have to roll to pull off every scale there. So
With
Yep.
that, we continue now on to episode 8 of Dice Dogs, featuring the Shepherds. So, if you guys remember last time, you not only did you solve the murder mystery that was kind of happening in Zadash, you also found the murderer and stopped him and discovered that it wasn't a murderer per se, more in the sense of a magical artifact that was mutating people and causing them to go on murderous rampages. With Ozla Highhill putting the dreaded scissors to destruction in the smelting pot in what I think was one of the coolest scenes in Dice Dogs so far. And one of the best rolls too. But with that in mind, as you guys will remember after that, exhausted from the fight, you all decided to head back to the tavern for one last night of rest. And just something to keep in mind. That particular night was the last night that your stipend will pay for your rooms. So if you are going to be staying in Zadash any longer, you will be having to pay for room and board beyond that. But without further ado, I'm going to assume that it's as you guys turned in for the night, it's the usual setup with Nox and Gesh in one room, Fenkin doing his beauty routine in his room, and of course, you know, Ozla and Dhuur'in. I keep forgetting Dhuur'in's name, and I don't know why. He's like the most iconic character so far. But
I don't know, man.
You helped me write his name.
I know I helped.
And you always mix him up with Fenkin, too.
In any case, so Ozla,
Hi.
you know these past few nights sleeping by Dhuur'in's side that he is not what you would say a heavy sleeper. He has difficulties sleeping, per se. And fortunately for you, you do kind of drift off before the screaming starts.
Yeah.
But Ozla Highhill, this night, you also share a dream.
No.
And as you fall to sleep on the wicker bed, eventually your eyes open, and you stare up at what you think are stars. But soon, as you see them fall and splash against your cheek, you realize what you're actually looking at are raindrops, cascading down from an inky black sky. And as you sit up, wiping the wet from your eyes, you find that your bed is no longer a bed, but a boat. A small, rickety dinghy of splintery wood that grates fingers and toes with every touch. The floors of your humble room have given way to the sea, which splashes and laps at the side of your vessel like a hungry fire. The waters are not angry, but disturbed, and you feel every jostle and heave as though in the arms of a giant. And at first, you believe you are alone in your dinghy, before you look up at the bow. From your lonely seat at the back, you see a tiefling that sits before you. Huge, old, a tricorn captain's hat upon his head. His flesh is a deep purple, the color of the night, and it rots and bloats in places. Water seems to drip from him perpetually, and he smells and stinks of death. What do you do?
Oh. You're in the dream.
I'm in the dream. I think I just I sort of walk up to him and I go to touch his back. I don't say anything.
He's facing in front of you. His head is just down, so you can't really see it. See his face. But as you stand up and you feel the dinghy kind of jostle a bit as the weight compensates for you standing up, you make your way over, and you're just about to reach out and touch his shoulder. But as your fingers are inches away from his face, he raises his rotting head so that you may see his face. It is sunken, and it is skeletal, as if decomposing. And you watch as a sea snail slithers out from under one empty eye socket. Lips tight against the gums part, and salt water dribbles from his lips as he speaks. 5 pieces. 5 pieces of 8. He points at you, and you follow his decrepit finger down to see something littered at his feet. And in a grim moment of horror, you recognize what these objects are. You see Nox's eye patch, the cord split and frayed. You see the very tip of Gesh's quarterstaff snapped in two. You see Dhuur'in's bronze amulet of Pelor, rusted and bent. You see Fenkin's wolf fang necklace, cracked and broken. And finally, you see your own pair of goggles, the lenses shattered, the strap severed. You look up, and this old tiefling is staring at you. And once again, in a groaning voice, he speaks. Pieces of 8. Pieces of 8. Final pieces for a binding of fate. Thunder claps. Lightning screams and lights up the dark for the briefest of moments. But as it does, you can see a shape in the light. Something big, something long, impossibly so, rising up from the depths, higher than any tower, higher than any mountain. And in your heart of hearts, you know its name. Ukatoa. and as a scream leaves your lips, you awaken, and you realize you are screaming with your real mouth. You are screaming inside the room of your tavern. And Dhuur'in, you also snap awake. For once, not from your own screaming, but from the terrible scream of the halfling beside you on the bed.
It's a pleasant change, kind of.
No. I still woke up very. I check my own body from whatever dream I was fucking having, and I'll look over at Ozla and see that she is shaken, and I will gingerly swing my legs over to the edge of my bed. I'm not gonna get up, but I'm gonna kind of sit forward to look at her over on her tiny child's bed. And kind of like... Wait a second.
Okay, so Ozla, as you kind of like, as your brain kind of wakes up along with you, and you're gripping your blankets tight enough to tear them with your halfling strength, you're shaking, you're sweating, you feel impossibly cold and impossibly hot. And it doesn't help that when you look around, you see a very dark figure with green glowing eyes in the night. and he might be waving at you, but from your position in this smaller bed, it's very much like a look of like...
Terrifying.
As she sees that, she sort of goes, "Oh, fuck, okay." And her mouth is like all gummy, and she goes, "Don't fucking do that! Don't fucking do that!"
I'll like look down.
Whoops. I forgot. I'm terrifying.
Make a noise or something.
I am here.
Give me a minute. Give me a minute.
Take your time. I look out the window. What time is it? Is there sunlight?
I'm gonna say that it's around 4:35 in the morning thereabouts. There's still like there's still a few scant stars in the sky, but the sun definitely is not up yet. But you can see from the position of the moon that like in an hour or so time, it's gonna be early morning.
I look back from the window and say, "Good morning."
What? We're gonna say that. So, she's still like leaned over like this. She goes, "Good morning." Sleep okay?
No.
Yeah.
No.
It was fine. Can we hold hands?
Oh.
I know that's weird, but can we hold hands?
He'll get up, shamble over like the corpse he is, sit down on the edge of her bed and offer his bony claws.
His skeletal hand.
So Dhuur'in, as you stand up and walk over, there's not a whole lot of space to like sit on this child-sized bed, especially with a halfling barbarian taking over it. But as you do, Princess, who has been curled up by Ozla's side, she kind of, you know that thing that dogs do sometimes, where they'll wake up and they're just like. Yeah, he kind of does that, and like he'll slowly get up the ball of lard that he is, and kind of like over to in between you guys, and kind of like nestle down.
Hello, dinner.
What did he
usually.
say? What did he just?
Hello, dinner.
I forgot Dhuur'in calls Princess dinner.
Usually Ozla would probably like fight that and be like, no, his name is Princess. But right now she's very fucked up because she didn't want to see that. And as like Princess climbs in and Dhuur'in's got his hand out, she copies what Dhuur'in did when he had his nightmare, and she just slowly touches her fingertips to his. Like, yeah. And she sort of like grasps Princess's paws. You can see that the physical touch has calmed her down like immensely. Like as soon as she touches someone, she's just like in one go.
Also, I don't want to speak for Dhuur'in, but I'm assuming that this is the coldest hand you've ever held in your life.
She's running way too hard.
He'll like. He's not going to say mimic my breathing, but he'll like. It's a very long, drawn out exhale.
Like he's out and Rose is like after a moment of just like holding on, she goes, okay, thanks. You don't like talking about things, do you?
I will, if you need it.
I don't know what it. I do, but you know, I'm a pirate. I think that's been pretty self-explanatory by now. I mean, I like rum a lot, but stuff happened a while ago, and I don't know why it happened, but since it happened, I've been really bad dreams, and I don't know what they mean, and Fenn helps because he knows what happened, but it's hard to tell him when he's so not troubled himself. It's so sorry. It's really hard to talk about.
Meanwhile, Fenkin's in his room, just like with his makeup pot.
Ozla's senses turned off. But yeah, she continues and she sort of like flaps her hand because she doesn't cry. She like because like the tremor in her voice, it isn't from crying. It's from building anger. And she's like shaking and she's like gritting her teeth to stop herself from like gripping Dhuur'in harder because she doesn't want to break his fingers. But she starts to tell Dhuur'in and everything. She's like, I was on a boat. I grew up on a boat my whole life. And obviously on a boat you have a captain, and I saw him. I've only been having these dreams since the thing happened. And he just looked so like a nightmare. He was all rotting and he looked dead. And it freaked me out. And there was stuff from you guys there, and I don't know, I don't like dreams like that. And the stuff from you guys was new. That's never happened before. I don't know where that came from, but yeah, it was a bad one. I didn't like it. No. Yeah.
He will kind of take her hand a little more firmly. And he's been staring at her, this whole time because he's rude. But he's kind of soaking it in and understanding, like, shit, she's opening up to me. Fuck. God, what do
Human
I do?
emotions.
Like,
How I deal with this.
but he'll squeeze her hand in his horrible, cold, bony fingers. I am well versed in nightmares, and I know they cannot harm you, and they will not harm you, so long as I am here.
Aww. She sort of like she sort of like squeezes his hand back, and I think by now she's like sort of moved up, so she's like almost like she's like holding his hand. And like with the squeeze and like the comforting words, it relaxes her, like from when she was slowly like going like to calmer breathing again. And she just like sort of nods and goes, thank you. I don't tell the others that I had a nightmare. I'm not embarrassed, but I just don't want them to know. Keep this between me and you.
I am also well versed in keeping secrets.
And then they kiss. Anyway.
No, not during chaos.
On the forehead. Mwah.
It's very
So-
cute, actually.
Dhuur'in, because this is another consecutive night of nightmares for you, and Ozla, since this has been a particularly bad nightmare for you, I would like you both to take a point of exhaustion. And basically how exhaustion works is if you get, I think it's 8 points of exhaustion, you drop down dead.
Cool.
Yeah.
1/8 of the way towards
Waiting for
death.
that one.
Congrats.
There's actually a bunch of rules in D&D about how exhaustion works. For example, there's certain terrains where every day, every hour, if you guys don't rest regularly, you get a point of exhaustion. So you could literally be dead in like 1 hour of game time. Anyway, back at the ranch.
Just remind us what rolls we take disadvantage on.
Thank you.
That is a good question. I don't think you take disadvantage on roll. The reason I had you take disadvantage on rolls that first time was because I did not know how exhaustion worked, and I didn't look it up because I was too excited for the next scene coming up. But I will pull that up on my trusty little phone, and I will have that ready to go when the time comes.
Google.
But with that in mind, once everybody wakes up, you kind of go about your morning routines. Gesh, you might do your morning meditations or whatever dragon monks do. I don't think we talk enough about the fact that Gesh is literally a dragon monk.
He's pretty
how is that
badass.
not the coolest
No
shit?
one spoke about it. It's so cool.
It's the coolest shit.
Yeah, it's okay.
He shoots
Dragon
lightning
monk.
out of his mouth. How
I know.
are we not always talking about this? He's like
Pretty
a
high.
JoJo
Yeah, but like it's not like it's an Eldritch Blast or anything, you know.
Oh,
Just
it's
another
not-
Eldritch Blast.
Warlocks are a dime a dozen. Anyway,
Okay.
I've had my time. I've had my spotlight.
so everybody sort of wakes up and makes their collective way down to breakfast. Maybe one at a time, or maybe you all go at once.
Ozla and I hold hands.
on how the shepherd works.
I'm cool away. That's funny.
Depending on how it happens, Gesh and Ozla, maybe you see each other in the hallway, or maybe you see each other once the one or the other makes their way to the table. But there is kind of a look of tension between you two, and being the more sociable of the group, Nox is kind of able to pick up on it. And Dhuur'in, I'm also going to say that you see it. Fenkin, unfortunately, you don't see it because you're trying to wrestle the piece of cheese that you want out of Fenkin's hand. But that morning in the Leaky Tap is kind of a general morning for the business. There's not a whole lot of customers. There's a smattering of the usual families who make it a tradition to go to the Leaky Tap every morning for breakfast. And of course, there is Dudley going about pouring coffee, lifting tables, and all that, putting on a little extra bit of a show for you guys, considering that he helped you out yesterday. And as the morning goes on and more food is brought to your table, the band begins to pick up playing again, and it's a nice little morning. And you're all still kind of like in that groggy state of like, I don't want to talk about anything until I've had my morning coffee, whatever. But eventually, Claudia comes along, and she's got another tray of food for you guys, and an especially big wheel of cheese for Nox.
Yes.
But
Yes.
she also has by her side Kubo. And for the first time since you've seen Kubo, he doesn't look skittish or dour. In fact, he's smiling. He's smiling big and wide. You can see a row of sharp teeth, and he's got something in his little mittened hands. And as Claudia sets the tray down on the table, she kind of picks Kubo up, and he's still like beaming at you guys, and she says, if you don't mind, Kubo drew something for you. And she kind of shoulders him, and he's like, why didn't you show him, sweetheart? And Kubo nods up at her and slowly unrolls this piece of parchment. And the picture on the parchment itself. Am I coming through okay? Can everybody hear me?
Yeah.
You're lagging on mine.
Yeah.
All right.
You're a little laggy on the video.
Yeah, I'm having a weird lag thing, but I'm not gonna. Okay, I guess we're back. In any case, the picture on the piece of parchment is of 7 figures, 5 of them being you guys, and of course this is a picture drawn by a child with different colored wax sticks and a pencil base. So it's not great, obviously, but you guys can still kind of pick out which figures are you. The short one holding a hammer in one hand is obviously Ozla. The 2 taller ones in hoods are Gesh and Dhuur'in, clearly. And you can see you're all standing in a line, kind of holding hands. And in the center, holding Gesh's hand in one hand and Claudia's in another, is a picture of Kubo, and he's smiling too. And there's also like a little yellow sun that's been drawn up in the corner. It's a very nice picture. And you can also see, like, in a bottom corner, Kubo has done his best to kind of like write his name. And it's clear that he doesn't really have like a mastery of the written word yet, but it's
Me neither, Kubo.
the B, for example, is capitalized and backwards. But he holds it out to you guys, and Claudia explains, well, he wanted to thank you for everything you've done around here, and especially you, Mr. Gesh. And I actually have some good news.
We all lean in.
You can see you can see on Claudia's face, usually Claudia looks very tired because, she basically 24/7 runs this tavern. It's her livelihood. But and she does seem a little tired now, but she also seems very, very excited and very, very bright. And taking a look at Kubo, who looks up at her, she looks back to you guys and she says, We got a letter from the Solstice Academy in Rexandrum. In a year's time, someone will be along to take Kubo for his first classes.
Hmm.
Sophie, the camera didn't pick that up. What?
I yelled, "Holy shit!" I'll just say that like around a mouthful of bread.
As you curse, Claudia kind of like claps her hands over Kubo's big ears, but she nods and she's like, "Aye, indeed. Apparently they took some great interest in him, and like I said, he'd find his way."
Fenkin smiles a little and just like nods in approval. He doesn't say much more than that.
And she looks like she's about to say something else, but before she can, she looks down at Kubo, and she sees that Kubo is looking directly at Gesh, and he's got his hands out, and he's kind of like doing this with his hands. And she blinks, and then looks at Gesh, and she's like, I think he'd like a hug. Is that all right, sir?
Yes, that's fine.
All right. So, as you lean forward to take Kubo, he latches onto you and throws his arms around your neck and just kind of like nuzzles into your shoulder. And you feel how warm he is, like a hearth fire that's been brought to life. And before Claudia finally is able to pry him away, he whispers something in your ear, Gesh. And he whispers something in Draconic. It's a very, very old word, dating back to the old places of Exandria, dating back to the first roots of the Draconic language. But somehow, Kubo knows it, as if it's instinctual. And you recognize the word immediately. Again, it's an old word, but you know it to mean brother of dragons.
Was it Dovahkiin?
It was not Dovahkiin.
I love the fact that Gesh is our natural keeper of secrets. Like, all the secrets just go to him.
And so, as Claudia takes Kubo back and sets him down, and he kind of like goes around the table to give everybody like a little goodbye hug and thank you or whatever, a little special thing. And eventually, Zilbin enters the tavern, and Kubo sees Zilbin and like scampers over. And Zilbin's a little surprised when Kubo suddenly pulls him into a hug too, because his friend for the longest time has always been very skittish and timid. But he also seems surprised and happy to see that Kubo's in much better spirits than normal. And with that, Claudia lays out the rest of your breakfast for you, and you all enjoy a nice little meal. The last meal that's being paid for you. But as you guys eat and as you guys kind of wake up, you begin to discuss the day's activities. Because again, you have 4 things that you can do today. You can visit Betty Vorsam on Patty Cogsprocket's toy store, also known as Cogsprocket's Emporium. I believe it is Nox who has the business card.
Probably.
No,
I think it's Fenkin actually.
Yeah,
Fenkin. Yeah. You can you have to accept the reward at the King's Hall. You have the option to visit the bathhouse of Zadash for a well-deserved rest and a well-deserved cleaning. And you also can, if you want to, investigate the threaded needle as to how such a dread artifact had gotten into the hands of such an old man.
I'm gonna go to the brothel.
Now, if you guys like, I can leave this open for you guys to roleplay a little bit and discuss it. Is that something you'd be open to, or?
How many tasks do we have time for? Like, how many can we choose? Or can we only choose one? Or
We have literally all day.
So we can do all of them, but we just discuss the order and if we want to.
Yeah, you can do. I'm not. There's no time restraint. You can do literally all of them. It's just up to your characters to like discuss like what to do and when to do it. And while you guys are doing that, I'm gonna blow my nose real quick. I'll be right back.
Hunker down.
All right then.
What do you want to do, guys? How about while Connor's gone, we'll just say orc brothel.
Orc brothel.
Yeah, orc
brothel.
I need my fix.
Well, if we are going to the I mean, we should probably go to the King's Hall first so we can get more money, and then
King's Hall, get our money. Maybe take a bath first, and then hit up the orc brothel so we smell nice.
So we smell nice. Yeah.
That should probably, yeah.
I'm proving hard.
All right.
By Adidas.
Sponsored by Adidas.
So order of operations is King's Hall to get our money, bathhouse to get clean, then orc brothel.
Yes. This is amendable.
Don't remember giving that as an option, but
You guys want to have fun, Connor.
We had all day, Connor.
You did say we had all day.
And all night.
Okay. We're gonna get our money. We're gonna go take a bath, and then we're gonna take a walk. And if we happen to stumble across an orc brothel, if we find one in the wild,
Shots.
We drank a shot of pain.
Hard and veteran, just like.
So I guess we just don't care about the threaded needle. We just don't care.
I want to go
Rocket, whatever his name is.
The needle.
We destroyed the scissors. Who cares anymore?
okay.
probably fine,
So-
right?
The scissors are gone. We made
So-
Okay. To be serious, should we have in-character discussions about this? Or should we just...
Yeah, that's what.
Our in-character discussion was orc brothel.
It just has a little
Slowly
line.
chanting.
Like you guys are all discussing it, and Dhuur'in is in the back, like orc.
Call you.
Oh my god, imagine if
He
they
knows
meet
what he wants.
That's why I said Carl was there and he's just like shuffling plates or something. He's like, oh, little one.
I want that one.
He did say he was gonna look for a job.
He did.
So
We could have Slutty Khan.
it's true, we could. Connor,
Alright.
you know what the people want.
So, what's the order of operations here?
Money first.
I think we're going to get our money and then we're going to go to the bath. And then, or
I also want to go to the toy store. Fenkin wants to go to the toy store.
But I mean, we
we're
should
going
get
to get some
money
fucking
first.
Legos.
Yeah!
Or what about
Spend on
threaded
things.
needle first? So if we find anything to report, we can report it at the King's Hall while we get our money.
That's good.
Okay, so order of operation is a threaded needle. King's house, King's order.
Yeah.
And then we go.
Oh, no. Sprocket and then maybe bathhouse.
Yeah, finish the
Yeah.
day with like, the bathhouse.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're going to have a
Okay.
nice clean bath at the end. No one's going to drown.
I did reluctantly agree to it at the end of the day.
Someone's gonna drown.
Okay, so as you guys finish up your dinner and finish discussing what the plan is for today, Claudia eventually comes along to bus your table, and you kind of you kind of say a heartfelt goodbye to everybody because this has been something of a home for the past 3 days, for the past turbulent 3 days. And even though it's a bit run down, even though it's a bit cheap, it was still a place to like put your feet up after a long day. So, is there anything is there anything anybody specifically wants to do before you guys leave the Leaky Tap, probably for the last time?
Fenkin hangs around in the background, awkwardly, like.
I never got to give this to him, but when we went to Pumat Soul's play, I got the little pirate thing, and I wanted to give it to Zilbin as like a little thank you.
You did, yeah. Do you want to go ahead and do that?
Yeah.
Okay. So as you kind of scan the room to find Zilbin, you do eventually find him over at his and Kubo's little table that's nearest the bar. And as always, they're kind of like sitting on a stack of books, enjoying their porridge. Kubo's got his earmuffs on again as the noise in the bar has kind of like gone up. But as you make your way over the table, Zilbin, with a mouthful of porridge, kind of waves his spoon at you and accidentally splatters a bit on Kubo's hair.
Also just starts laughing. She's just like, "Nice shot, kid."
So you lot are heading out today, eh?
Yeah, last day here, kiddo. We do a lot here, to be honest, so we have to move out now. Hope you and Kubo.
What was that last bit, Sophie?
Hope you and Kubo are going to be okay, though.
Oh, I think we'll be all right, especially after everything you did for us. You might be a bunch of fucking weirdos, but you helped out around here.
Yeah, we fucking are, kiddo.
As you guys are talking, Princess is like on his fat haunches by your feet, kind of like looking at each person as they talk.
Well, like you said, we're on our way out, so do you remember how you helped us trying to get around Zadash when we got here?
Yeah, I think I did. Yeah.
That was a really nice thing you did for us, kiddo. So I got you something. Don't make a big deal out of it. And then she reached into her bag. And she reached into her bag and she sort of like hands in the little toy and everything. And she's like, "You're really nice to us, and I want you to remember us and keep being nice. Keep doing that for people, okay?"
As you produce this little brass pirate toy from your bag, Zilbin's eyes practically pop out of his skull. And like he's quick to like take it out of your hands and like look at it. And he's just amazed and he's like, "This is for me? You fucking bought this for me?"
Yeah. I didn't get to give it to you because you were eating your little cupcake and everything.
I've been saving up for weeks for one of these. Thank you. And he winds it up and puts it on the table, and he watches it like begin to walk around and swing its little brass cutlass. And Kubo is watching entranced as well. And Zilbin watches it for a second before getting up, running over to you, and squeezing you in a big ol' hug. And he's just like, thank you so much.
She like pauses for a second. She's like, and then she like goes, "Oh, don't worry about it, kid. Don't worry." Listen, if we come through here again and I manage to find something, I'll bring it to you, okay?
Sounds good to me.
All right, kiddo. We'll see you whenever.
We're gonna miss you. Make sure to write, okay?
All right, I'll tell Gesh to make sure he writes to you. For you.
Do you not know how to write? Because no offense, you don't look like you know how to write.
Wow, he's a monk.
Wow, rude. So rude, kids.
Fucking little punk.
I still have flurry of blows, kids. So.
A beat from a 9-year-old
a child.
It's like
I'm the school. You're like, where is it?
I'm imagining like the camera zooms in on Gesh's like twitching eyeball, and then like it cuts to like a far off shot of Zadash with like siren lights going off, and you see Gesh coming up over a hill, just like, we gotta get the fuck out of here, man.
Oh my god.
That's a wrap on Zadash.
Ozla just bursts into laughter. She's just like, fucking right. All right then, kiddo.
While this is happening, anybody else want to do anything?
Before they're leaving, Nox is going to take a moment to kind of like bow her head to Claudia in a grateful gesture and say, you know, I'm so appreciative of your hospitality in this time for us. Could I have a little cheese for the road?
Claudia, who is kind of like wiping down a table, looks up at you like she's like, "Oh, it's no problem, ma'am. Absolutely. Dudley." And Dudley looks over from a family that he was kind of entertaining by like balancing a chair and a plate of food on one hand, and he turns around and he's like, "Yes, ma'am." And he's like, "Can you please bring some cheese for Mrs. I believe Opportunity it was."
She's just like, like not even caring that she called her by something that no one calls her by. She's just waiting for this cheese, man.
Dudley nods, puts the chair down, and flicks out all the plates of food to the family, kind of like a dealer dealing cards. And moments later, he comes out with the biggest block of fucking cheddar cheese that you have seen in your life. It's like this big around, right? And he also brings along some special food twine, and he's like, "Would you turn around for me for a second, miss?"
I think Finn's
Sorry, you're talking to Nox.
Nox. Yeah, I'm talking to Nox.
I'm sorry, I was distracted for a second.
No, it's fine.
She's just very jazzed about this cheese. So,
but before you get a chance to answer, he grabs you, picks you up, turns you around, sets you back down, and before you know it, the cheese has suddenly been like lashed to your backpack.
she just kind of like gets set down and she looks around like startled and like reaching back to like feel like what the fuck, but then she's like, you know what, this is what I asked for, so I guess it's fine. And she's just like, okay, thank you so much, I appreciate it.
And as you guys go to leave the Leaky Tavern again for the last time, both Claudia, while holding Kubo, and with Zilbin at her side, she's kind of like standing in the middle of the tavern, along with Dudley and a couple of other employees. And while Dudley gives you like a big bow, everybody waves goodbye, and the door closes behind you as you exit to the roads of Zadash. Okay. So, with that in mind, you guys wanted to go and check out the threaded needle first, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, Dhuur'in and Fenkin, you guys are the ones who know how to get there.
Broke in.
What's that?
That's correct.
We were the ones that broke in.
Yeah. You sure did.
You're the ones who very mildly broke the law. So, do you guys want to kind of lead the charge in that regard, or?
Yes.
All right. Cool.
Fenkin is going to once again walk behind Dhuur'in and gently holding his cape.
It's like a little comfort blanket. He's just got like the corner of this like really ratty cape he's got.
Aww.
All right.
It's adorable.
So, as you guys are walking along, I'm gonna say that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, yeah. Princess is now latched onto Nox for the day, and is kind of like sitting on Nox's shoulder. And every now and then he'll kind of like reach back with a raccoon hand and pull off a chunk of cheese and like dangle it in front of Nox's mouth before he reaches back and like gets one for himself.
Can I roll a strength check to kick him?
Well,
Pops him over the horizon.
well, he's like not on your shoulder, but kind of like dangled over your head a bit, like this. So I don't think. I mean, unless you can like reach your paw up, you'd probably end up kicking yourself in the face.
You don't know what I can do.
You don't know what I can do. But
Oh God, and anime on my side.
He's the DM. It's his job to know what you can do.
She is absolutely. She will not kick him, but she is absolutely going to several times like kick some dirt in Ozla's direction and be like, control your pet. She's like, haven't you trained this thing to be better behaved?
it's
No, my brain just fucking shut off. Give me a minute. It's like focusing on the wearing. Like, I'm stuck now. Hang on.
It's okay. Ozla's exhausted.
She does have an exhaustion point.
Looks up. She's like, what?
as soon as you ask the question about training, Princess does that thing where with his little raccoon hands, he just starts to like drum your forehead a little bit.
Train him though. Look. And she claps it.
She is so unamused. She just has the flattest look ever on her face.
So while you guys are walking down the street, you notice that people, especially the common citizenry who haven't really seen you, do kind of give you a weird look because, again, you're a very motley kind of crew that isn't common around Zadash, especially Tabaxi, who are a rarity in just about any Imperial city. But you do see that, like, guards and members of the Crown's Guard, they kind of they look at you with a sort of respect. A couple of them nod at you, a couple of them smile. One of them actually sees Dhuur'in and like stops and just and like the Crown's Guard next to him kind of like looks at him and he just like elbows the other guy and he's also like
Dhuur'in will nod at them as he's walking along with his staff at the head of the party.
Yeah.
Like
the leader.
And while this is also happening, you do hear the sound of like the town criers kind of ringing their brass bells. And for those of you who don't know what a town crier is, essentially back in the times before newspapers, how people got their news was there was literally a guy who was hired to wander around town and shout the news at the top of his lungs. So
God, I wish that was still a thing. I wish that was my job.
It can be if you aren't a coward. Sorry, that was really like.
So you see one of these town criers walk by, ringing his bell, and he says something along the lines of, "Zadash slasher apprehended by group of heroes. Zadash slasher apprehended," and he goes on with like other different stories pertaining to politics and the current affairs of Zadash. But eventually, as you guys walk along, led by Dhuur'in and Fenkin, you find yourselves at the decrepit remains of the Threaded Needle, and you can see that it's been kind of like boarded up by the Crown's Guard, and a few of them kind of look like they're coming. There are a few scant Crown's Guard around the area, just kind of like cleaning up and sort of like making sure nobody gets too close. And when they see you approaching, a couple of them do look like they're about to move to stop you, but again, then they recognize you and they're like, "Oh, yeah, absolutely," and they let you pass. And go ahead.
Yeah, Fenkin sort of peeks over Dhuur'in's shoulder, still holding on to him, and then he gives them a look, looks up at the building, and then kind of leans in to talk into Dhuur'in's ear, and it says, "You first."
Dhuur'in's gonna lead them around the back to the window that they broke into.
He pulls up his hood a little bit, like, no, wait, I unlocked the door.
Oh. He's like, "Oh, door." He pulls the key that he got out of his bag.
Okay, so I'm assuming you're unlocking the door. All right, so
Yeah.
as you guys watch Dhuur'in unlock the door, you kind of see how he got in last time. You see the shattered window right next to the back door. Uh, in fact, there's still kind of like pieces of glass on the ground too.
We're just gonna choose not to ask about that.
But the door opens, and as you guys make your way inside, Denkin and Farwarin, Dhuur'in and Fenkin. God, I did I just cast a spell? What just happened? Anyway, you guys walk in and you look around kind of like the back parlor of the Threaded Needle, and it's much lighter inside than it was last time because now all the windows have been thrown open and candles have been lit, so it's much brighter inside. And of course, the body on the chair is gone, only replaced by a dried bloodstain on the upholstery. And there's a few Crownsguard inside as well, still kind of like cleaning up and doing some like basic investigation, taking notes and whatever. You also see what appears to be an Imperial wizard, dressed in kind of like a magician's uniform for the arcane units of the Imperial soldiery, and you see him kind of like mumbling and casting a few warding spells. And as you guys enter, he's got kind of a very long, wispy white beard and kind of like really big flowing eyebrows. And he nods at you guys and he says, "You must be the ones sent by Captain Amon. We did a preliminary investigation, and it does not appear that there's anything magical or arcanistic in nature within the parameters, so you're free to conduct your investigation as you please."
The wards fend off Dhuur'in. He's not allowed in. Like bumps into an invisible wall at the door. Like, oh
shit!
And then he bumps into him like,
one by one. Everyone's like, oh.
They all just stop, crash into each other.
The shepherds that saves Zadash, everybody.
imagine the chaos, like Fenkin accidentally pulls his foot off and he's like, ah!
With that, the Imperial wizard starts to make his way out, and you see that he's very old and very slow, and eventually like a younger Crownsguard does like offer an elbow and he takes it, and they make their way out the door. But soon you guys are left alone in the parlor of the Threaded Needle.
Fenkin will pinch his nose and sort of look around with disgust, like he's expecting there to still be bodies lingering around. And with one hand and his other hand still firmly clutching the cloak of Dhuur'in. He's not stepping away from him.
Nux, you have
hello.
You have advantage on perception rolls based on scent, I believe it is.
Yes.
Okay, so it doesn't smell bad in here. It smells like it's been recently cleaned. You know, like you can kind of get the gist based off of like the residual sense that like something really gross did happen here, but it's since been cleaned up and sanitized. And you can't be sure, but like it kind of smells like someone just kind of crushed lavender petals against the walls and kind of rubbed them.
Gross.
Which I learned is something they did in medieval times.
Oh,
yeah.
Interesting.
History.
Make it smell better.
It also works
stories.
So, if you guys kind of want to split up your investigation, there's like there's kind of like three main areas that you can check out. There's the lobby where like customers will come in and like talk to the manager about what they want for the next project. You have kind of like the seamstress area, which is where you entered in from. And there's also the upstairs living quarters where presumably the owner lived before he was turned into a vessel for the tall man. The now obliterated tall man. But, so, how do you want to do this, to quote Matt Mercer?
I'm going upstairs.
I think goes wherever Dhuur'in goes.
Alright, so the elves are going upstairs.
To the bedroom.
Oh, in that kind of episode.
Right.
It was bound to happen.
If
I lead Fenkin to the bed.
Ooh, Nuzzles roar. Oh god.
We're going upstairs.
Okay, so the elves are going upstairs. Ozla, you watch as Princess hops down from Nox's head onto the floor with a very loud thump. Again, he's a very fat raccoon, and he kind of waddles over to the chair, looks up at it, and like hops up, and you see him like sniffing at the dried blood, and he looks up at you, and he looks down at the blood, and he very slowly just like. Not quite licking it yet, but just kind of like getting his tongue close to like the dried blood.
He's like, do I have permission? Oz, she just like sort of like waves her hand at him, just like go do whatever you want, and she's probably gonna go to the seamstress's room. She's probably just gonna go to the seamstress's room, and she's gonna look for barrels to climb into.
So, Gesh and Nox, you kind of watch in horror as Ozla's weird raccoon pet starts licking at the dried blood and seems to be enjoying it, just like.
Minty.
So Ozla, I'm assuming you're heading over to like the lobby area while Gesh and Nox are investigating the seamstress area.
Wherever there is a barrel.
Okay. Okay, so I'm going to do this one at a time. I'm going to start with Ozla. So the main lobby area, again, you've noticed that a lot of like shops in imperial cities kind of have like sort of a similar setup when it comes to like their main lobbies. You know, there's what looks like a living area along with like kind of a long counter that works as like a desk and whatnot. And on this desk, you see like ledgers of orders and things, and also kind of some wayward pieces of spooling and all that. There's not really a barrel in here because it's a haberdasher. It's not much one for barrels. There is kind of like a wicker. Kind of like a little wicker container thing set up against the corner. Not really big enough for you to get into, but when you open it, there's just like more rolls of paper and stuff inside.
Whenever she finds something she can sort of get into, but she can't. She's like, oh, for fuck's sake, and she like walks back away. And then when she realizes that she can't get into any of the stuff and like sit in it, she's like, this is so boring. Why are we here? And she just like starts milling about, just putting her nose in whatever she can find then, like books, the ledgers.
Give me an investigation check.
Oh shit, okay.
Oh shit, here we go again.
Ah shit. Oh, I'm an idiot. Oh, that's not good. Oh, I got a 6.
You got a what?
A 6.
You got 6.
Oh!
Wait, you said you were looking through one of the ledgers, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't hear that last bit. You shouldn't have had make that investigation check. That's on me. My bad. So
that's okay.
As you look through the ledger journal, you kind of like start to read through the different receipts, and you can tell that the owner of the owner of this place was very particular about the notes he kept. They were all very organized and well kept. And you go through about 5 or 10 pages of all these well kept notes and dates and orders before you get to one page where in the center it just says he's too tall. And then you flip the page, and once again it says he's too tall. And you flip another page, and as you flip the page, over and over it's repeated, he's too tall, he's too tall. And the writing gets bigger and scratchier and scratchier. he's too tall, he's too tall, he's too tall, until you finally get to the last page, where in what looks like red ink that's turning a bit brown, it's written in a scratchy font, "He's here."
Yeah.
She's reading it. She's like, as like she flicks the page, she's just like getting further and further away. She goes, "Yikes!" And then she like slowly closes it.
Okay, Nox and Gesh, what you guys doing?
Good question. Remind me what is in their immediate surroundings that they can look at?
So we're in the seamstress place, right?
Yeah, you're kind of in like the workshop area. So there's about 2 or 3 tables with one of them has kind of like this kind of like hand crank operated sort of like automatic seamstress device, that's kind of meant for sewing. There's also a hand sewing station and kind of a spooling station as well. You can see abandoned bits of cloth and stuff kind of draped out over stuff. It looks like he was in the middle of a lot of projects. And as you guys kind of walk around, being the more bestial races, you notice that like a Fenkin, for example, not Fenkin, sorry, Gesh, for example, because of like the residual kind of lightning effects of your blue dragon ancestry, stuff like lint and pieces of string have a far easier time sticking to you. So half the time you're just kind of like spending just like God shit. So is there anything specific you guys want to do here?
Good question. I think. Yeah. No, I think Nox is going to investigate the machinery. And she certainly doesn't know anything about this type of machinery. I don't know if she would have seen equipment used in tailoring before. But probably not, at least. I mean, she's been in stores like this, surely, but she's never, I don't think she would have ever, like, interacted directly with stuff like this. So.
No, yeah, sure, absolutely. Go ahead and give me, I'm going to say a history check.
Oh, no. My history check.
That thing that you're all famously good at.
Wait, who's doing history check?
Yeah, you are.
You.
Oh, good. Yeah, we love that. We love that. Hey, Connor.
Yeah.
That's a nat 20, my dude. That's a nat 20, my man. As it turns out, I know very much about tailoring.
In a mere moment, you know the entire history of mankind putting thread together.
She had a chat with Fenkin.
I just so happened to be reading a book about this last night.
So you can't really like gather anything like super specific, but you do know that this particular machine, it's kind of a recent make and model. By design and by its machinations, it's a device of gnomish make. So that means a lot of steam, a lot of brass, a lot of copper, and a lot of very intricate little pieces that make things move and work in a very efficient manner. And you also know that this sort of machine is quite expensive. So evidently, the owner of this place did very good for himself to be able to afford this kind of machinery. But that's about all you gather from this.
Well, she doesn't know what to do with that, and neither do I.
I like to imagine you stared at like the device, and then like your third eye opens.
Yeah, I mean, she looks at it. She kind of examines the different moving parts a little bit. Doesn't want to break it, so she's not touching it too much, but she's pulling it apart enough to like see that it still functions, see how like well taken care of it is.
All right. And as you're doing this, something red catches the corner of your eye, and you look over at the table, and sitting right there on the very edge is a big ball of red yarn.
But do I have to make like a wisdom saving throw to avoid hitting it? Because she really wants to.
You know what? Yeah. Give me a wisdom saving throw.
All right. I'll make a fucking wisdom saving throw. That's a d20, right?
That's right, yeah, d20.
+3 for me. 14.
Huh?
14.
So, unfortunately, to pass, I was going to say it's 15 because clearly there's like a big urge there. So
yeah, that's fair. I think that's fair. I almost got. She turned away to like start walking away, and then she like stopped and looked back over her shoulder, and she was like, "Oh fuck it."
So Gesh, after you pull like the last piece of string from out in between your scale, you look up to see Nox's one eye just kind of like that big black pupil, and you're just like, and then you kind of look at what she's staring at, and you see the yarn ball. And you're about to say something like, Nox, wait, your dignity, before finally...
No dignity. Not here.
He's just like, this shit again.
Yeah, she bats it off, and then she kicks it when it's on the floor a little bit, and then she gets down on all fours and she's batting it around.
So he just calmly walks over, so face palming, just whenever you think you're done with this, we should check up on our elf friend. Get themselves nearly killed again.
She was in the middle of she has unraveled a large part of this ball of yarn by now, and it's kind of just like in a tangled mess, and she is if you've ever seen like when a cat is like chewing on a toy and they like start chewing it and then they like pull away and they're like Dah! And then they like keep chewing on it again, she's doing that. But then at the sound of his voice, she stops for a second. She looks at him, and like he can see like her pupils like shrink down to a normal size as she looks at him, and then she's like, "Oh, yes, yes, of course." And she like pushes the yarn away and kind of like sits up and brushes herself off, and she's like, where is the Hefgar?"
Well, they did walk upstairs, so I believe we should try that.
She's just gonna stand up and act as if nothing has happened. Maybe like push with her foot, subtly push the mess of yarn under the table out of sight. And she says, "Yes, well, if you think we have gathered everything that we can from here, I suppose we should go upstairs."
I have no idea where in this room I would get anything. Well, whatever the hell we are here.
Poor Gesh. It does seem like a concerningly normal store. Nothing is out of the ordinary that I can see from here.
Except the middle-aged cat betting around a ball of yarn. Anyway.
That's life.
Well, perhaps the others have something better than what we've found here.
Quite literally, as soon as you say that, Gesh, you see Ozla walking into the workshop area, kind of like holding out this book.
Guys!
Just uncomfortably.
Can you take this from me?
She walks over and yanks it right out of her hands. Just
Ooh, he angry.
As he does it, she like lifts off the floor a bit.
She had a nightmare. Leave her alone.
No,
I'm
poor
not.
baby.
You know what? You know what? I want you to both make contested strength checks for me really quick.
How do you do that? Wait, is it just like normal?
Just a strength check.
Yeah, just strength.
Okay, yeah. I'm gonna have to beat you, Ethan. I'm not beating you, Ethan.
So that's a D20
Plus your
and
strength. Plus your strength, yeah.
yeah, okay.
6 died in shame. There she is.
She was obliterated.
I'm disconnected. Hi.
Well, I got a 15.
What'd you get, Ozla?
She's tired.
You are
Giggles.
the barbarian of the group.
You want to tell the dice that? They don't fucking know.
So, Dhuur'in.
Oh god.
Fuck, not Dhuur'in. Gesh, as Ozla walks over with this book and as you snatch it up, still tense from what happened tonight, Ozla's kind of like grips onto it, kind of like defiantly, but you effortlessly lift both her and the book up, and you're
Take
just
her
kind of
off.
like holding her there, like.
You want to let go anytime now? Or
You let go. Fine.
Nox is just watching and not helping.
She lets go and falls back to the ground. And Gesh, now that the ledger is Ozla free, you're able to look through it and you see the same very disturbing messages written all throughout the book.
right.
Oof.
Great.
Do you think it's important?
Hmm?
Do you think it's important? With disappointment.
Nox just is across the room. She just sighs and pinches her sinuses and walks over and
You
says,
have a 10.
"Let me see."
Gesh
I guess
is just
hands
like,
it over. It's like he's like I don't want to read this crazy shit anymore. Here you go.
You know
It's
what?
like-
You know what? Fair. Very fair.
it's like that scene in Sonic Boom where Knuckles is like, "Give me that." Oh right, I don't know how to read.
I can't believe you thought that I would understand a Sonic Boom reference.
Listen, I have niche interests.
It's not from the game or the cartoon because either or was a bad choice.
Either or, woof.
Anyway,
The cartoon is
upstairs.
better, at least.
So,
Yeah.
Dhuur'in and Fenkin, as this is going on, you guys are ascending the stairs, up into the living area, and it's clear there is only one person living here because as you make your way up the stairs, it immediately gives way into another platform that's just all bedroom. You see a very humble-looking bed, a dresser, a rug. Curiously enough, a mounted elk head, and so that looks pretty cool. But the books, the shelves are lined with books. Most of them about like the art of textile making, and from that you glean that this was clearly a man who is very in depth with his work. You know, very 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 passionate about what he did. You also see something akin to a wastebasket sitting by the bed, where there is pieces of cloth and what appears to be papers and stuff. So from here, you guys are free to investigate and do as you please.
Can I invest? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead. You're still downstairs.
Oh. Wait, I'm in the room with all this stuff, right? Nox is?
No, you're down. You're still downstairs. This is Dhuur'in and Fenkin.
Oh. Wait, I thought they just went upstairs. Okay, never mind.
Yeah, they
ignore me.
Anyway,
you guys will join in a minute.
I said I got 5 hours of sleep. Leave me alone.
Anyway, Dhuur'in and Fenkin, what you guys doing?
I'm gonna look over my shoulder as we get to the top of the stairs and say, "Why did you follow me?"
Fenkin sort of blinks at him, opens his mouth, closes it again, thinks for a bit as if, yeah, why did I? He seems to have an internal battle with himself, and he's
Fair
like,
question.
shut up! Let's just search this room or whatever.
But while I have a moment alone with him,
They go fuck.
It's a burning!
as I'm kind of, I begin to rifle through the desk, and once again, not addressing him directly, I tell him, "You should check on your friend sometime soon."
He blinks a bit as he's like still almost like on top of him, clutching his cloak and sort of looking around as if expecting the tall man to jump at him at any second, even though he's already dead. And then he sort of blinks a bit and looks at him with visible confusion. He's like, "My friend? What do you mean?"
Ozla.
What are you talking about? Ozla's fine.
She does not sleep well sometimes.
Yes, I am aware of that, but she's usually fine in the morning.
And he'll go back to rifling through the papers on the desk.
Okay, so as you go through the desk, you do eventually find something of note. You find what appears to be an envelope with the seal broken. But as you kind of like press your hand down on the seal to put the two pieces of the wax seal together, you make out what appears to be a stamp of a baleful eye.
He was exchanging letters with Illuminati?
Beyonce!
I'm holding the letter together to make the seal complete, and I kind of like show it to him over my shoulder.
And Fenkin, whose face was very close, is sort of like, ew. What? And then he sort of looks at it, blinks a bit, and then gives Dhuur'in a look as if, do you know what this means?
It blinked at us with this eye.
He blinks at him again. What blinked at us?
Do you not remember the creature that wounded you?
I wish I did not, in all fairness.
And I will put it in my satchel.
You're not going to read it?
Mm-mm.
Fenkin's just like,
I'm going to give it
want to know
to
anyway.
the people at the King's Hall to read. I'm not opening that.
Are you sure you don't want to read it, Vinn?
I think you want to read it.
Okay.
Throw the DM a fucking bone here, Vinn?
What?
Throw the DM a fucking bone here?
Okay, fine. I stop for a second, and I pull it back out, and I open it.
All right. And
I thought you were going to give it to Fenkin to read, like you read it.
No.
Jeremy,
I can read now.
I won't make you read in your character voice, but I am going to send you... Ethan, I saw that message. Shut up. I am going to send you the contents of the letter, which you may now read out loud, if you wish.
Oh God.
He doesn't.
To the most esteemed proprietor and owner of Zadash's esteemed needle and thread. Salutations and good health to you and yours. It is my hope, and the hope of the rest of my brothers and sisters, that you find yourself in both good spirits and tidings. I am contacting you on behalf of the flock of my church with a menagerie? Menagerie? I was reading it in French. Menagerie Coast, as our people value a finely honed craft over most things, especially in turbulent times such as these. With this in mind, please consider the enclosed shears as a gift to you and yours, so that you may continue the provision of such high-quality textiles to your community. It is my belief that you will find them far more useful than any pair you've owned before. If you feel the need, you may send your thanks to the address below when you find the time. In fact, if you wish, you are more than welcome to come and attend one of our most eye-opening sermons. 1,000 blessings to you, good sir. Sincerely, Grand Eye Valnorge, the Chosen Folk.
Fenkin sort of leans in over his shoulder to also read the letter, and then he leans back and he swears in Elvish.
I heard that.
Do you know what this means?
No.
Once again, the single brain cell. He sort of blinks at me. He blinks
Good
at
job,
me. This whatever they are, sent the shears to the owner of the establishment. And then he stares at
Wow. That's so cool.
What did you say?
You're so smart.
You are so sexy.
Smart, get on the bed. No.
Are we about to kiss right now?
I'm like looking over my shoulder and you're like right here. What are you doing, bestie?
Would that be fucked up or what?
This is why we should never be left alone again.
Too much sexual tension.
Just wait till the bathhouse. Anyway.
Connor, you knew this was gonna happen. Animal magnetism.
So, with that in
Anyway.
mind, are you guys heading downstairs? With
No, I want to check out the rest of the room. I want to see if there's anything else interesting. Can I roll investigation?
yeah, sure, go right ahead. Also, while you're doing that, I am going to say that I'm going to need somebody to draw French Dhuur'in, where he has like a beret and his staff is like a long baguette.
12.
Can I also make one?
Yeah, sure, go right ahead.
I forgot how to make them. Hold on.
Get on the bed.
Wait, what do I roll?
Can you tell we're all noobs to this?
So that's going to be a d20 plus your investigation, which is in your skill slot.
Ah.
As we're looking
17.
around, Dhuur'in's going to kind of come to a realization like, a cult.
That would be fun.
She's like lifting a pillow off the bed to see if there's anything underneath it. Like, oh,
It's just like the Windows startup sound in his brain, just like.
I got a 17.
17. Okay, so as you guys begin kind of like searching the room after finding the letter, Fenkin, you look down and you see that one of the corners of the rug is curled up.
Proceeds to fall over. No, I'm kidding.
Hey, what's that? Whoop!
he just like smooths it back down and goes about the rest of his day.
Wait, shit. I peed. Hold on.
What is going
That's
on?
happened twice now.
What is going on?
We got a
When
week
is this a trend?
Hey guys. Our first merch is going to be Dice Dog branded diapers, right?
Wait, Wait, what just happened? What just happened?
M just
M
left
peed
because she
herself.
peed herself.
Riddle.
Oh.
Are all my players just like incontinent? What is going on?
Going on? M and Sophie's bladders are like telepathically connected.
This is not
That's why I actually need to go to the loo right now.
Oh my god.
the superpower I
Should we
wanted.
take an impromptu break? Should we take a break? Take a minute.
Just a quick.
Just a 5-minute break.
Dog's merch is going to be bottled water.
Oh my god, Vinn. Sweet Jesus. Sweet Jesus.
Oh.
Right. We're so good at this, guys, aren't we? Yeah, only the most professional is here.
I play Pathfinder. I'm a professional.
I wanted this to
Of
be
course.
my critical role. I wanted this to be
It
my
is.
magnum op. I wanted this to be my adventure zone.
It is. This is your adventure zone, Connor. It's filled with piss!
It's your piss zone.
Your piss zone! Welcome to the piss zone, everybody. Everyone's gonna pee themselves at least once during the length of this campaign.
Ethan.
Yeah?
I love you like a brother. I am going to break your nose.
I would like to see it.
I'm going to reach through the computer to wherever you are in England, and I am just going to start choking you until you see truck lights.
Fair.
Are you excited?
Jesus Christ.
Right.
The thing is, I was laughing so hard this entire time. And then when you said the thing about the rug, I just saw it in my head. He just went, huh. And fixes the carpet. Then it's like, much better. And I just lost it. That is definitely something he would do, and I'm highly considering it now.
I'm pointing out to Dhuur'in and he'll like rip the rug to pieces.
I wish that he could just smooth it out and it just rolls back up, and then Dhuur'in is like, huh.
So we'll say that you smooth the corner of the rug back, nod, and kind of step away to check something else.
Yes.
And Dhuur'in, you kind of like look around from the pillow and see that happening.
I beeline. And I the rug.
So, Fenkin, you suddenly hear the sound of the carpet being torn away from the ground, and you spin around to see it in Dhuur'in's hand. But scrawled into the floorboards, with the very same cutting technique that was used on the victims, over and over and over again. He's too tall. He's too tall. He's too tall. He's too tall.
Uncomfortable.
Fenkin sort of reads it. At first, he lets out a yelp. He's like, ah! Because sudden movement, scary. And then he looks at the floor and he's like, oh, that's not very good design at all. And then he reads it, tilts his head, and then he goes, huh, never had that problem. He's never had the problem with being too tall.
He's also had a problem with pissing himself.
Can't possibly relate.
What did you say, Connor?
What?
What did you say?
Oh, I didn't say a damn thing. Don't worry about it. I said
He's got the rug.
I said he also has a problem with pissing himself, apparently.
Dhuur'in's got the rug. He's holding it in his horrible, gnarled hand. He goes, ugh. Hey! Down the stair.
And Fenkin sort of jumps like, oh,
Everyone jumps. It's just like, what the fuck was that?
So you guys, everybody downstairs, this is the first time you've heard Dhuur'in scream, and it's a bit like a corpse crawling out of a grave, the way his voice comes out of his throat, and like you immediately all share a feeling of like, should we actually go upstairs? But
He may be dying.
I want Fenkin to have gotten so surprised by his yell that he stumbles over his own legs and falls onto the bed, and then lets out an even louder scream because he touched the disgusting bed.
Oh, is this where he tripped into Dhuur'in and then they fell on top of each other onto the bed?
so as Nox, Gesh, and Ozla run upstairs, what you see is with Dhuur'in's arm out like this, his robes are kind of pulled like this way, so it looks like he's opening his robes, and just in front of him, you see Fenkin on the bed. The more perceptive of you will see the scrawled words on the floor, but initially you see what looks like to be a very questionable scene before that.
Ozla's like, guys, go back downstairs.
She sounds there and she just goes, "Then we haven't had to talk yet. Stop. And she's like tugging at Dhuur'in, like, he hasn't had to talk yet. Stop.
What talk? What talk?
Just talk.
What?
Have you had the talk?
This is everything I could have wanted and more.
She's like, it's like, we'll have the talk later with both of you. Come here.
It's like being dragged away by Ozla, like, I have had sex.
Oh my god.
Fenkin, upon hearing these words, turned completely red. It was like, what the vulgarity!
When Dhuur'in says, like, I have had sex, she goes, have you?
Yes, that's not important.
Really?
The floor.
You had sex on the floor.
No.
Asks, also very puzzled at this point.
What?
So Ozla, eventually you do look down and see the scrawled writing on the floor, while Fenkin, I assume, is blushing up a storm and like babbling about how this isn't what it looks like. But just as in the ledger, it says, he's too tall, he's too tall, he's too tall, he's too tall.
She's holding on to Dhuur'in's like cloak and everything, just still trying to play back, and then she like starts like, oh, that's not good. Guys, wasn't this written in the ledger?
Dhuur'in finally drops the rug on the floor.
He's been holding on to it this whole time. Fenkin is getting up on the bed, still from the bed, not on the bed. He's getting up from the bed, still blushing all the way up to his little elf ears, and he's fixing his clothes desperately. And it's like, what, General, what?
Who has the ledger now? Does Gesh have it?
Nox, right?
Yeah.
Nox, how are you doing?
She's just been attempting to understand what's been going on for the past several minutes. She's just been struggling to make sense of any one part of this.
I'm going to say that, Fenkin, you also see Princess by Nox's feet, and he looks at you like,
Get it.
Nice.
Fenkin just like glares at it, like,
Have it.
The animal.
So Gesh, Gesh and Nox, go ahead and roll me insight checks real quick.
Oh,
Insight checks.
Yeah.
into the situation, or
You can
No, we'll see how the insight checks go.
that's a 17.
Okay.
22.
All right.
Oh god damn.
So you can both kind of tell. You guys don't have like a lot of experience with possession and mind control and all that, but you do understand from this and from the ledger that you found downstairs that this was clearly a man who was going through a very terrible time in his life, with the spirit bound to him, and sadly, as much as it looks like he tried to keep the beast at bay, it did eventually overtake him, to the point where he lost his grip on reality and became the it thing that was the tall man. But beyond that, the only piece of evidence that you have that is with Dhuur'in right now. So what do you guys want to do?
Oh, I've dropped the rug, and I'm like, oh, and then I pull the note back out. I'm holding the envelope closed and like to everybody.
Fenkin's confession letter.
Dhuur'in shows you all a closed letter.
With the sigil, I'm presenting it.
Looking so proud too. Like, look what I got.
And then still facing it out to everyone, I will. And I'm holding it to Nox.
You can read.
All right. So, Nox, as you read the letter aloud, I'm assuming for everybody, you all instantly recognize the name Grand Eye Valnorge, specifically from the note that was pulled from the flesh pocket of the assassin that nearly took Ozla Highhill's life.
I love that flesh pocket note.
Well, shit.
Nice little callback. Who pulled the flesh note? Oh, it was Dhuur'in that pulled the flesh note from.
Yeah.
The dude, right?
Needs to.
Nox holds the letter for a second after she's finished reading it out loud. And then she kind of looks up at Ozla, and she holds out the letter to her with her finger like on the page pointing at the name. And she shows Ozla and she says, "Does this name mean something to you?"
She looks at it, she leans in a little bit and squints, goes, I can't read.
Sophie, while you don't recognize the name Grand Eye Valnorge, save from the previous note, you do know very well the Menagerie Coast, as that was your home for the longest time. And it seems that these notes, and as well as Dread Shears, the pair of scissors, are coming from somewhere in the Menagerie Coast, from somebody calling themselves Grand Eye Valnorge.
Oz is probably gonna look at her and tell her what does it say? Because it's weird writing to me.
Sorry, what? I missed that. Was that to me?
Yeah.
Sorry, can you repeat that?
She's asked. She looks at Nox and she can you? What does it say? That I don't. Those are weird squiggles to me.
Here, I'll copy and paste the note into your DMs, Finn.
Oh, thanks. That is super helpful. because my audio is not good right now. Well, okay, where's that dude's name?
At the bottom.
Valnorn of the Chosen Folk.
Chosen.
She looks at it again, and then goes back to holding it out to Ozla the way she was before, and she's like, "This is the second time that we have come across this name, and I do not believe in coincidences."
We are?
Yes, it was mentioned before in the note found on your would-be assassin.
Ugh.
Indeed. She's got this kind of like suspicious look on her face now. Just kind of just like unamused, suspicious look. She's like nodding slowly and she's like, yes. So as you can see, Ozla, this all seems to have something to do with you.
Fenkin takes one step in front of us to sort of shield her a little bit.
You can see the cogs turning in Dhuur'in's head. He's like,
Cult. Fuck, my brain's focusing on birds now. Give me a minute. Oh, I hate ADHD.
He also gives Nox a warning look, like.
Shut up, birds! Fuck! I'm really focusing on them and I don't want to. What was I going to do here? I'm so sorry. She sort of like cocks her head and she thinks, and she like looks at it and she's like, this doesn't have anything to, oh, for fuck's sake. This doesn't have anything to do with me.
The frustration budding on Nox's face is palpable at this point. In fact, actually, wait, Connor, can I make an insight check against Ozla?
Yes. Ozla, you're not trying to convince her that you're not lying, are you?
No.
Okay. Yeah. Go ahead and give me.
She's avoiding giving info.
Yeah. Give me a check. Give me a check.
Check. For once.
Hang on. You said there was an eye on it, didn't you?
Mm-hmm. On the seal, yeah.
Okay.
So, just so we're clear, Sophie, she's not lying, but she is withholding information?
No. Oh shit, I don't know now. I think, yeah, she's withholding information, but she doesn't know. She doesn't know what this is about.
Alright.
Dhuur'in will speak up and say, if these two incidents are indeed connected, Ozla deserves our utmost protection.
Fenkin blinks a bit at Dhuur'in and then he sort of like smiles the tiniest bit. Like,
Aww, that's so sweet.
Wait, so sorry, am I ready? Am I doing an insight check?
Well, yeah, you said...
Yeah.
Unless my
Okay.
words changed your mind.
No, they did not. 18.
You're generally a pretty good read of people, and Ozla is somebody who kind of like leaves her emotions on her sleeve. And again, Sophie said she's withholding information, so you can kind of tell that she's not lying, but you can tell she's kind of like not telling you the whole story, and you can also kind of tell that she's pretty, like, it seems like she has an okay reason for doing so, to the point where it looks like, it really worries her to let you know.
How can I explain myself?
Nox just kind of sighs and folds up the letter, and she's like, all right. She's just like giving up a little bit, kind of rubbing her temples, and she's like, at some point, we need to have an honest discussion about.
I'm not being honest.
I don't think you are being honest. No, I think you know more about this than you are willing to admit.
Really? Do you? Does she?
That fucking Gesh.
Just the first time, you're just like, yeah, bitch.
And he shoots Gesh a look, like, do you have a problem?
Ooh.
Now they're all fighting. I like this.
It's a standoff.
They're like, wait.
Oh yeah, no. He'll be like, calm the fuck down.
Wait, like John Mulaney, like, okay. Fucking birds!
So, as you guys all kind of start shouting at each other, there's a moment where suddenly you hear the loudest hissing noise you've ever heard in your life, and all your heads snap down, and you see Princess bristled up and just like at all of you, before finally sitting down and like crossing his little raccoon and looking at all of you.
Dhuur'in looks down at him and goes, I agree.
Oh no. After that, after Princess does a little hissy fit, I was like sort of just okay. It's so fucking stupid. It's the symbol, okay, the eye thing, whatever it is. Look, I don't believe in it. It's a stupid thing, but when we came into Zadash the first day and I got pulled out of the cell, some guard took me aside, the Among Us guy, him. Some guard took me aside and he asked me about it. I don't know shit about it, other than it's a children's story, but it's really weirding me out now that eye is there. I don't know what it's about, but I've seen it twice now, and I don't know where it comes from. So.
All right. So, with all this new information at hand, and with this sort of uncomfortable understanding all around you, you guys decide to make your way out of the Threaded Needle to take all your evidence with you to the King's Hall for your next little excursion, which we will do in 10 minutes after the break.
Yay!
Yay!
And now for a word from our sponsor, me taking a fat shit in the toilet.